In this lesson, we're going to talk about how we can extract variables or constants from our code. So let's take a look at program.java, and let's go ahead and make that as big as we can so that we can maximize our screen. And here, let's take a look at how we can actually extract code or an expression into a variable. Now this is very useful if you have an expression that you're repeating multiple times and you would like to be able to easily interchange perhaps how that expression works without having to change multiple lines of code. So here, we only have an expression in one place, but you could extrapolate from that and understand how you would be able to use this should you have multiple instances of that same expression. For example, here we have if not f1.exists. So if we were using this expression in multiple places throughout our code, it might be useful to just make that expression into a variable and then be able to very easily change that expression as we need to, especially if we discover a bug in the expression. So again, we can go to the refactor menu after selecting the code we want to extract into a variable and simply select Extract Local Variable. And note that that is Alt-Shift-L, or on the Mac that would be Option-Shift-L. Once we select this, of course it says, what would you like your variable name to be? Let's just call this not f1 exists. Would you like to replace all occurrences of the selected expression with references to the local variable? Most likely that's what we're trying to do, so it is checked by default. And then depending on your own use for the code, you might determine that you'd like to declare the local variable as final and actually make it maybe into a constant. You can again preview to see what would be changed should you decide to do this. And here we'll see the code will become boolean not f1 exists equals the expression not f1.exists. And then the calls would be replaced with that variable. So let's go ahead and select OK. And we can see now we've extracted that expression into a variable. And should we decide that we need to modify that expression, all places that reference that variable would easily be able to change from one specific place in code. So the next thing I want to look at is extracting constants. So if we continue down into our try block in our program, we can see that there are a couple places where we have hard-coded constants, which is generally not a good idea, especially if you want to change this often or need to have matching constants somewhere else. So if we want to extract a constant, we can easily select the constant that we want to extract and just go to the refactor menu and select Extract Constant. Now this will give us an Extract Constant dialog, which gives us the ability to name the constant. So here we'll just say X location. And since it's going to be a constant extracted, we'll make it all caps, just to follow the standards for constants. We can then replace all occurrences of the selected expression with references to the constant, qualify constant references with type name. We could even make it public, protected, or a package if we decide to. Again, we can preview to see what would happen should we do this, and we'll see that it'll add private static final int x location equals 150. And down below in the code, it will replace our 150 with program.xlocation. So we can see that that's taken place. Let's go ahead and do this one more time on the 25 here. And here we will extract the constant again. And here we will not qualify constant references with type name. And here we'll call this y location. Just so we can see the difference. What's going to happen then is we no longer have that program dot. And again, we don't really need the program dot as long as we're in the same code here. So that qualification is going to be up to you on your standards. But you can see now that we've very easily taken out those values and replaced them with a constant that we could use. So we probably want to continue to do that for the rest of these hard-coded constants so you could practice that on your own. But that wraps up our look at extracting variables or constants.